everybody. We are going to dwell into the energy sector and the aspects that the budget did or did not cover. And for this panel, we have some very senior industry colleagues. We have Mr. Aditya Trivedi, he's the country head of 5B India. Mr. Pratik Kamdar, co-founder and CEO, Neuron Energy. Colonel Dr. Bharat Sharma, Executive Director and CTO, PowerCon Group, and Mr. Vinay Pabba, CEO, Vibrant Energy. Hello, gentlemen, and thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today on this panel.
Hello, thanks for having us over.
Hi,
Hi,
hi.
Hi.
hi, Urvi.
So
Thanks.
I I know it's a Sunday and that too a Sunday evening, so but yet you took the time out. So we are, as an organization, we're quite grateful for that. So not to waste any more of your time, let me just go in alphabetical order and ask everybody what was their take on the budget today. Mr. Trivedi, we'll start with you.
Uh, so thanks, Urvi. Thanks for having me over. I think the overall, if I would say for me, I found it pretty mixed. My expectations were here, but it was somewhere here. The budget didn't quite meet my expectation. But if I look at the budget holistically, I think the government has been pretty much focused on their approach. While sectoral, we may have certain aspects which probably might have been overlooked. But overall, the approach is very forward-looking. It is not, it is both, trying to resolve some immediate problems, plus at the same time, they are looking at a longer term focus in terms of, being more focused on manufacturing and structural development rather than addressing some policy level issues. So I think from that aspect, I would say it is a mixed for power sector. But overall, I see that they are more focused in terms of it was not a full gamut, but it
Hmm.
was more focused approach this time.
Definitely, I was talking to a few people earlier. They said that the budget is manufacturing and infrastructure focused, which is something I think we all noted. Colonel Sharma, what's your take on the budget, especially from the energy sector angle?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I think that the energy security and sustainability continues to gain decisive momentum under the Union Budget of 26-27. Strategic thrust towards self-reliant scaling of semiconductors and electronic components, coupled with the prudent leveraging of rare earth materials, signals a long-term national vision, in fact. Importantly, the prioritization of MSMEs and women empowerment while consciously integrating the historically overlooked Tier 2 and Tier 3 sectors defines the spirit of inclusivity. The budget sets the tone for a truly reformative and future ready India, I would say. As
Okay.
part of India's climate and energy strategy, an outlay of 20,000 crores for carbon capture and storage technologies. This confirms the government's financial and policy commitment to reducing the greenhouse gases and emissions, particularly carbon dioxide, the most dominant contributor, because it is CO2 primarily, which emits coal-based from the coal-based power generation, transport, and industrial activities. It accounts for 75% of the total emissions. It's very important to, you know, somehow get rid of it. This is followed by methane, contributing to about 15%, largely originating from agriculture, waste management, and the oil and gas sector. Behind India's data center budgetary boost lies a quiet reality. The power demand for data centers during the previous year has been up to 1 gigawatts, and it is doubling very fast. And by 2030, we expect that the requirement would be something like 9 gigawatts. This reflects massive power requirements. While coal and renewables today account for 50%, nearly 50% of the India's installed power, coal actually delivers 75% of actual energy, because is what is megawatts, which is important. Budgetary measures such as basic custom duty exemptions and extensions till 2028 for wind, solar, and battery technologies are strategically aimed at clean power capacity and clean energy delivery. The accelerated deployment of such energy storage systems will further enable grid stability and controllable energy dispatch, and the share of the renewables would definitely increase. One notable gap in the budget which I saw was lack of explicit focus on electric grid infrastructure. These are the highways that carry electricity. Today, India faces an acute shortage of transmission and evacuation capacity, even as large volumes of power are ready for delivery. Without parallel investments in grid expansion and modernization, the full potential of new generation capacity risks at remaining underutilized. In general, the budget motivates the power sector while creating avenues to light up every Indian home with clean, reliable, and affordable energy. That's my take on it.
You've, I think, covered a lot before I even started the set of questions. But I think your outlook was pretty optimistic. So that's a very good start to our panel. Mr. Kamdar, now it's your turn.
Yeah, we are pretty happy with the budget. There have been certain impetus that the government is focused upon when it comes to electric mobility, and now they're extending the same privileges to energy storage system. We're expecting large number of capex happening from 2026 to 30 in the BESS, that is battery energy storage systems, containerized battery solutions for grid storage and power storage. And government has ensured that all the capital goods are exempted of the customs duty as they have announced today. This was already applicable for the mobility segment, and now the same privileges have been extended to the energy storage segment, which is likely to generate larger demand for lithium-ion batteries within the country. Secondly, they have also ensured that the custom duty is waived off of key raw minerals or materials that they have identified, which are important in terms of our energy security and important in terms of uh, India's strategic positioning in the entire energy ecosystem globally. So that has ensured, and they have also put export control regulations on certain minerals. So import is waived off and export controls have been put in to ensure that the minerals that we don't have access to today, India will become richer there. And I think the idea is to put in technology and recycling in that era to ensure that the minerals are in kept in India, recycled regularly, and those technologies are built which can be exploited. So we think we are pretty positive. It's a long-term step. I think that we will not see any short-term gain out of the budget, but it lays the foundation for the next 3, 4 years on where the industry is moving forward.
Okay, that's good to hear. Long-term thinking.
Yeah.
Mr. Vinay Pabba, I would like to invite you to the discussion now. What are your thoughts about the budget, the opening statements?
Thank you, Urvi, at the outset. Thanks, Businessworld, for having me on this conversation. Yes, all of what the other speakers have said is true. But I see the budget as a signaling tool, clearly giving out a very clear and coherent policy signal on the direction and to the nuance of where it is headed. If you look at the previous budgets, the focus has moved away from gigawatts of solar, gigawatts of wind, talk about capacity additions. The clear tone and tenor of the budget speech today and the papers is on achieving energy security through resilience and reduction of import dependence in a very volatile global landscape. The clear shift from earlier budgets is now and clean baseload power, and that shift is very clear. You can see this in the focus on, of course, the focus has been on solar, wind, battery storage, and nuclear. Nuclear gets a lot of attention now. Solar and wind specifically have seen tariff changes for indigenizing supply chains and reducing tariffs on raw material costs and capital goods. Mr. Kamdar referred to the reduction of capital goods for battery energy storage systems. Um, Similarly, we also see a lot of reductions in raw materials used for manufacture of it's in solar, like ethyl vinyl acetate, the backsheets, and POE, which are now exempted. Same is the case for nuclear, which has clearly got a lot of attention, and there's a clear lack of resources and attention on nuclear. Importantly, as it is both clean and also base load. There's a lot of focus. And what we are seeing as a whole is a clear intent and direction and signaling as to where the government wants to place money, resources, attention to a clean and base load pathway to energy transition. That's how I look at it.
Sir, talking about investment in resources, the budget also spoke about certain exemptions for lithium-ion cells, critical minerals, and so on. How realistically can India reduce the import dependence in clean energy manufacturing over the next 5 to 7 years? Because it's not a hidden secret anymore that we are vastly dependent on China.
Is that
Mr.
for me?
Pabba,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I think what we are going to see in terms of uh, domestication of the value chain for batteries is going to be very similar to what has been done on the solar side. 2 years back, there was little or no capacity solar module manufacture. Today, we have more than 100 gigawatts of solar module manufacturing capacity. One step, that solar cell manufacturing capacity is almost 45 gigawatts, from virtually nothing to what we have today. So it's a slow process. The indigenization of value chains doesn't happen overnight. There are challenges in technology, access to skills, access to capital, and of course, the in a world that is geopolitically as volatile as. Um, so though we do not see any, there's a clear indication that pointed out that there are exemptions for capital goods for lithium ion cells. Is that adequate? I think that's a good start, and in the course of 2 years, we should see this happening as the effort to reduce import dependence goes up the BESS value chain. That's how I look at it. It's a good start.
Great. There's a saying that well begun is half the job done. So, yes, a good start is always welcome. Mr. Trivedi, my next question is for you. The budget strongly backs energy security through renewables, nuclear, critical minerals. So, do you think that does this create a coherent energy transition roadmap, or are we still seeing fragmented policy signals across power, fuels, and grids?
No, I think it is a good start because clearly what we are, what Vinay also clearly said that what we are seeing is a clear direction, and like nuclear was a very clear signal that we are making a shift from coal, and I see that nuclear is going to take a big piece, currently from a very small, minuscule 3%, it is going to be much higher, and double digit. So clearly there's a clear indication. While this is good for a direction, but clearly I think what we'll have to watch out for is what are the policy initiatives, because budget gives only direction, and power, as we all know, is highly regulated, and nuclear is like a different aspect altogether, much more regulated. So how this actually rolls out into actionables from a policy perspective, and we will continue to see how the state and center aspect continues to impact the overall sectoral performance, because clearly while budgets have we have seen they have been helpful in giving a guidance, but the real implementation challenges are on the ground, and that is where we see some of the disconnects, some of the lack in pace. So clearly, I would say there's still a lot more to be done. But from a overall perspective, it is a very clear direction that we are shifting a base from coal to renewable, coupled with battery storage and nuclear, which is a more sustainable and longer term approach.
Right, nuclear has been in the radar of the government 2025, 26. So, my next question, Colonel Sharma, is for you.
Yeah.
Nuclear power has received long-term duty exemptions and policy continuity. How important is nuclear in India's baseload energy mix? And what will determine whether private investment actually flows into this space?
See, as far as nuclear is concerned, uh, I rate it below renewable energy. Definitely so. Though it generates much more in a smaller sort of infrastructure in comparison to the spread out renewable energy sector. What I want to bring out here is that while these exemptions and all these actions that we've been taking, uh, by which we are trying to enhance the manufacturing or establishing nuclear generation plants and all that, that may be a very good step. And we are getting the fiscal support for all that. But what we as a nation should do is to look 50 years hence. That is not what we are doing. We are only giving exemptions for importing certain things, which somebody else has already sort of worked on, designed, and we got it into our country. We're getting it into our country so that we can enhance our production over here. It's
Okay.
good that we are having 5 university townships coming up as per the budget. It's very good. And it is this initiative which must be used to take our R&D efforts forward. I was just talking to somebody, regarding how BYD has overtaken Tesla in the world today. BYD was given a task that you have to overtake Tesla. So the BYD CEO just made a mention that they have a $5 billion R&D budget. He was told by the Politburo in China that you can take 15 billion dollar. Now, with that, what has happened is today, while BYD is already ahead of Tesla, they have 120,000 engineers who are working only on research and development. I'm not talking of production and maintenance and this and that and whatever sales and all that is concerned. I'm talking of only purely R&D. So 120,000 engineers are working only on R&D. They have got 11 institutes which are doing only research on your nickel cadmium batteries and the other batteries, parallel batteries which are coming up for EVs. So we got to think like that. China, for example, 50 years ago, they had captured all the mines in the world which had cobalt, which had these rare earth minerals and all that. All over the world, Congo, for example, Brazil, Chile, all these countries, they bought their mines. And today, they are leading. We've got to think in those manners. We've got to lead, where people should buy the technology from us rather than we going and getting their technology, because then we'll always be following. We'll always be reactive.
Right. Mr. Kamdar, I have the same question for you that I asked Colonel Sharma right now regarding the nuclear power sector. So I'll just repeat it for the benefit of our viewers and for yourself as well, that nuclear power has received long-term duty exemptions and policy continuity. How important is nuclear in India's baseload energy mix, and what will determine whether private investment actually flows into this space?
So, for India, there has been a continuous movement away from coal. The movement that is away from coal is going into multiple directions. One being solar, which has been one of the largest contributors after coal. The bottleneck with solar was that it was not able to dispense energy at night. It was able to absorb energy and dispense it during the day, which led to grids being unstable, or grids having excess power during the day but deficit power at night. With the BESS coming in now, that problem will be solved, wherein the power will be stored into the containerized solution and dispensed at night. So that will enable further solar expansion as we speak. Beyond that, of course, there will be nuclear there where pressure is there, but nuclear comes with certain restrictions within the localities and density of where the plant needs to be set up. So that needs to be managed well as we expand nuclear as well. But yes, as we move forward, it should increase to double digits in the next 8-10 years. Apart from that, apart from nuclear and solar, we are expecting hydrogen and many other technologies to come in. Wind being a restrictive power generation technology where we have wind capacity, but I think the budget is more towards solar and nuclear where they want to expand more than the budget. I think the entire direction of the government is more towards solar and nuclear. In the next 5-7 years, we are expecting large number of capacities to be built in those two directions itself.
Okay, right. So while we do see a positive step taken by the government towards the energy sector, I think still a lot is left to be desired. On this note, Mr. Trivedi, my next question is for you. The budget strongly backs energy security through renewable storage, nuclear. So, do you think that this is coherent enough for us to see the energy sector move forward, or are we still seeing fragmented policy signals across power, fuels, and grids?
So I think clearly, as I mentioned, it is still, I would call it fragmented because clearly, again, the budget is more of a financial direction. That direction is towards manufacturing. The manufacturing is towards certain technologies. And I think what one thing that I really appreciated in the budget is the government acknowledged that we lack the current capacity and capability to set up these facilities. That's why they've given away with the duties for bringing in the equipments. So from that, I think clearly financially it is in the right direction, but operationally how it will pan out, I think this is something which is yet to be seen. Clearly, it is more of a policy level decision which will encompass in the future. But overall, I would say yes, it is the vision is clear, the direction is clear, but policies will actually frame. So budget is more of a direction rather than actual, how it. So the coming year is going to see how what are the policy changes we are going to expect based on the budgetary allocation, and then it is the sector how it looks at it. I would still say it is more of a fragmented approach because certain aspects are clearly missed because like hydrogen is one aspect which I somehow didn't see any mention in the overall whatever uh, was presented in the budget. Transmission was more of a muted thing, no specific mention, just overall infrastructure development, but those specifics are yet to be seen. So clearly I would call it the yes budget has not clearly excluded things, but it has not explicitly mentioned also. So that way, I would call it kind of a fragmented budget in terms of the sector. But I think I hope that in the coming months, we'll see more policy-driven initiatives towards the sectoral reforms.
Right. I think we have to read a lot in between the lines to figure out how the budget is going to impact the energy sector, except for the carbon capture point that was made by the minister. Mr. Vinay Pabba, I have the same question for you. Do you think that the budget was cohesive rather than non-cohesive, and what was left to be desired?
Differ from the view that it is a fragmented budget. I see a lot of coherence, especially on shifting to grid readiness and grid integration with evacuation of renewables. There's a mention of the green energy corridor to build out about 13,000 circuit kilometers of interstate transmission lines. There is now the high voltage transmission equipment comes under the national manufacturing mission, and this is definitely improving domestic value addition and self-reliance in EHV. There's a clear mention of a 3-year pipeline of interstate transmission projects to be implemented in a PPP mode. There's a mention of a power system development fund being provisioned to a financial closure for at least 30 gigawatt hour of battery energy storage projects for short-term storage. There is a clear mention of putting in place about 2,300 circuit kilometers of optic fiber on the power lines to enhance the power network communicability. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on distribution reforms. And this is figuring in a budget, which is other document for talking about priorities and financial outlays. So I'm seeing not just a fragmented approach, but a well thought out and directionally absolutely kind of a roadmap and where the government wants to put their money, what it wants to prioritize, and what it wants to execute in the coming financial year.
Okay, great. I think we have two very strong and well-founded opinions here, which is of course what the panel discussion is all about. We are of course running short of time, so I would like to just invite everybody for closing statements. Colonel Sharma,
Yeah.
let's just close this discussion with the same question that I had asked Mr. Trivedi and Mr. Pabba. That do you think that the budget has done enough for the energy sector? Is it fragmented, and what is left to be desired, and what else could have been done?
Well, to my mind, it has done enough. And there are 2 points which I wanted to bring out, which are very essential. One is skill development. They have laid emphasis on that, but not pointedly towards, I would say, the renewable energy sector. I was just carrying out an analysis as to what is the requirement of skilled and trained manpower that would be required to be developed within the next 5 years. Keeping in view that we have to have 500 gigawatts installed by 2030. Now, this means that we are only halfway through. So 250 gigawatts is what is to be established in the next 5 years. 50 gigawatts per year would require something close to 250,000 people per year, skilled people who can handle these things. So there's certainly something that is required to be done quickly so that we don't fall short in ensuring that whatever we have installed, we utilize it properly. The second point, which may not be related to all this, is there are certain irritants that are there. Something like, we have a lot of right-of-way issues which come up in the sites. Now, I feel that because of this, what happens is our production is stopped. Now, I think that this should be taken as an essential service. Renewable energy generation being done should be taken as an essential service, and disruption should be taken as an offense. This is, though not connected to the budget, but definitely there is a need for the government to take cognizance of this. We are troubled by this particular aspect. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Sharma, for your concluding words. And Mr. Kamdar, of course, the same question for you. That what do you think the budget does it have gaps for the energy sector, or was it comprehensive enough? And what was left to be desired by yourself and other industry leaders?
I think the budget did enough. I would say it was comprehensive enough for the uh, energy industry per se. To be honest, there's continuously reforms happening beyond the budget. So we are seeing multiple reforms in multiple industries happening across the year. Considering those reforms that are happening across the year, budget to an extent, except for last year when they had done a massive income tax slab change, has moved away from those large announcements per se that were catering to the budget era. So I feel the budget has laid the foundation and laid the direction in terms of where India is moving and the energy security towards the renewable space. Yes, there will be gaps in terms of execution, in terms of certain details in policy framework, I think they should be able to cover that when they execute policies for that particular divisions.
Okay, great. I think we are ending on a very positive note, because almost everybody has a good outlook towards the budget, and we are all hopeful that the policy execution is what will carry the weight henceforth. So I would like to thank everybody who took the time out to join us, Colonel Sharma, Mr. Trivedi, Mr. Pabba, and Mr. Kamdar. And I hope you have a great Sunday ahead.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Urvi.
Thank you, Urvi. Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.